Session T-26, an introduction to mobile devices. Our objectives for today are to identify mobile devices and explain what qualifies them as being mobile devices. We're also going to be able to describe the characteristics of common mobile devices, including tablets, phones, and e-readers. We will also be able to compare and contrast the software platforms, capabilities, accessories, and mobile ports of different mobile devices. And then finally, we will be able to describe the role of mobile devices in today's society. This one should make a lot of sense to all of us, considering we all use mobile devices. So we should be somewhat comfortable with them already. Some key BSMs that we will be making use of are adaptability. You will be, when working with people's phones, you'll be forced to interact with a wide variety of people that are using different types of phones. Not everybody has an iPhone, not everybody has an Android. And so you need to be adaptable so that way you can adjust to the different types of phones that you're working on. Future orientation is also super important. Phones are rapidly getting better and more complex. And so being open to that will help you in this area. All right. So what is a mobile device? So seems simple enough. A mobile device is a small portable electronic device that enables computing. As mobile devices have improved in capability, their use and need for technical support has also increased. Mobile devices use one of three software platforms: iOS, Android, Windows Mobile. Let's see. TJ. Which software platform will Apple products use?
iOS.
Yep. Let's see, Romario. What platform do Google phones use?
Google phones.
Mm-hmm. Google-based phones.
Chrome.
Not quite.
That's not an option.
We got three
Windows,
choices.
my bad. Windows.
Windows.
Android, my bad.
There we go. Yep. Google devices use Android, at least mobile devices. And then Windows mobile devices are Windows phones.
Yeah.
All right. So some examples of mobile devices: tablets, smartphones, wearable technology devices, phablets, which are just fabulous tablets. Is that right, Marvin?
Yes, that's correct.
They're actually phone tablets.
They're
Hopefully,
big,
hopefully a few of you got the joke. I can't see all your faces, but I'm gonna assume it landed. All right, e-readers, smart cameras, and GPS devices. So we don't have Kelly to draw names. Marvin, pick a student to give us an example of wearable technology.
Chris M.
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch. Great. Anyone else?
Fitbit.
Fitbit. So we got watches. Anything else?
GoPros. They can be wearable if you can adapt to it. You can.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's a GoPro that does computation right now.
Mobile
That
phones.
doesn't. We're talking about wearable technology devices, Umberto.
They tried
With
doing
that augmented reality thing.
Oh, yes, there's a good one. Google Glasses, augmented reality. We can't really use them. They're not for sale. But we'll get into more detail with that. Alan, you got one more?
I was gonna say the Google Glasses, but
That's a good one.
Got to be quicker, Alan.
All right. So on to tab. Early versions of the tablet weren't anything like a computer as they were proprietary. Now they qualify as a mobile device due to their technology changing to be more like a computer. So some features will include, it'll run one of the three operating systems, Android, iOS, or Windows 8.1. Size, this size can vary, but in general, it's going to stay larger than a cell phone, smaller than a laptop. They'll typically have cameras. They'll be lower in cost compared to a laptop. They'll have handwriting recognition, GPS, SSD, 3 and 4G mobile support, touchscreen, and an example would be Microsoft Surface. So who can tell me, actually, Marvin, will you choose a student who will
Evan.
tell Evan,
He gonna tell you anything.
why do you think that we need a solid state hard drive and not a regular hard drive? Or a hard disk drive?
Solid states provide more space, and they're no, actually they're actually smaller since like phones and stuff are getting smaller but more powerful and more useful.
Come on, Evan,
Jim.
give me something else. I need to know why solid state versus a regular hard drive.
They more durable, like if you drop them or something.
Oh,
Look at
That is-
Renzi, saving them. Now you caught it,
Yeah.
Evan, right? You caught it? Since you're
Uh-uh.
carrying it around and everywhere, Renzi kind of saved you on it.
It's portable.
Yep, and durable due to it being moved around a lot because it does lack moving pieces.
Yep.
Mhm.
exactly. But you did make a good point. It is smaller, so you're able to keep the tablet compact. You know, no moving parts means that when you toss it onto your bed, you don't have to worry about scratching up your disk. Jimmy, do you want to add to that?
I was actually going to comment to the durability and the mobility of it.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Sorry, I should have just let you talk. What am I even here for? Umberto.
Yes, Windows 8.1, Microsoft didn't upgrade that version for tablets.
So Windows 8.1 was actually made more for tablets. It's very compatible with the way that tablets work. It makes use of touchscreen and the size of the tablet. So it's really easy to handle in tablet form, less easy in a desktop form. So that's why they use 8.1. I'm sure they'll upgrade, but at some point, but typically 8.1 for that. But good question. Right, and so the evolution of tablets just kind of shows you how they've changed over the years. 1972, the Dynabook had a little keyboard attached to it. Apple graphics tablet comes with a little stylus, grid pads, Apple Newton messaging pad. You see a lot of tablet or stylus use with older ones. And then you can see how it develops to where it is now. 1972, yes, really. And Marvin, there's one
Sir.
older than the Dynabook too, right?
You're asking?
I am.
I
Well,
think
confirming.
I think that one, yes, exists older than 72. I thought you were saying that I was older than 72. And then that
No,
was
no,
gonna be a
no.
problem.
I would no, sir.
Okay.
We're,
'Cause I'm
we're not
not.
like that.
Okay, well, you are, but you're not older, but you are like that. But yeah, I'm not that old. But yes, I think that older one than that exists. But one thing that Avery kept saying, there was stylists out there, but guess what? It's back in a form of a what? Somebody tell us.
Wireless pen.
That Apple products have the pen now. So you're back there, or like a little stencil, even for some of the other. I think Microsoft even have their own version of that. So that's kind of neat. They brought it back.
Google's developed theirs as well.
So that's kind of neat. Comes back around.
All right, now on to smartphones. So smartphones, they'll have an operating system that will typically run on either iOS, Android, or Windows. Depending on the phone, they'll have an on-screen keyboard to input data, or they might have physical buttons for the menu and go back. You might have your on-off switch, your volumes. Older phone, like older iPhones had that home button that you would push in. Some Android phones will still have that one you physically will push in, but most newer ones will just be completely touchscry. It's
Don't
crazy
be that
how.
way, Avery.
What do you mean?
You're doing it again. I have a home button.
That's okay.
But you said much older phones have, the home button that you actually push in. You don't have to do that, man. I still have a home button.
I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, thank you. Continue. Thank you.
I would like to add, though, that phones rapidly develop. And so a much older phone is only going to be, 2 years older. That's way behind considering what we have nowadays. Let's see. Most will have motion sensors that can be used to like turn off an alarm or quiet a call. My phone has a feature where if I have Spotify up and I'm driving, I can put it in my little car holder. And if I want to switch the songs, I can like swipe left or right and it'll switch the song. I think I can also turn the volume up or down as well. So that's a cool little hands-free thing I can do. Some will use one or more SIM cards to hold data related to the cellular carrier, and some have SD card slots for extra storage capacity. Who can tell me what type of phones will typically have that SD card slot and which ones will not? Or I can get Marvin to call on people.
Out of what?
You got off mute. Hold up, TK. Go for it.
Androids will usually have the extra SD card slot.
And Miss Grayer, what devices typically don't allow you to add more memory to it via a SD card?
I really don't know.
Check out the chat. They're helping you out there.
iPhone.
Yep, iPhones, if you notice, does not have a slot to add more memory to it. But recently, within the last couple of years, they have super cool flash cards or jump drives that actually go into the lightning portion of the device and fit flush up against the back, where you can add more storage to it. And it's there, you know it exists, but it's super compact. It almost looks like, I'll show a picture if we get a chance, but it looks like it belongs there, and it gives you an option to add more space.
Yeah, and Jimmy added a great point in the chat. They make use of the cloud, and so it's a lot easier to push your storage system if you don't allow third-party storage with SD cards. And my phone doesn't have, it's an Android device and it doesn't have a SD card slot, and I think a lot of phones aren't, are taking that option away. So that way you either have to buy a phone that has more storage or you have to invest a cloud storage solution because you know, when it comes down to it, money talks and they want more of it. Why iPhones don't add the SD cards? Money.
It,
They
it
want you-
always it always go back to money if you think about it. But now I'm currently paying, and most of you may or may not. I could pay 99 cents a month for 20 gigs or whatever amount of gigs of, and it seamlessly get taken out of my account. Like you just, hey, thank you for 99 your 99 cent purchase every month. And even if I don't use that space or not, they're still taking that money. So why give your opportunity to take your, because I always buy the small one, 16 gig. I'm like, it's 16 gigs. I should be able to use that. It's got phone numbers or whatever apps. They don't want you to, and I don't even think they carry that one anymore. I think it starts at 32 now. But they gave you a 256 gig, which I think you can buy, or a 512 gig phone, which they can make. It'll be a little more expensive. They'll claim it. I give them that. But you wouldn't want to upgrade in the year or so to the new device. Like you'll hold on to it a little longer because it still has all your pictures and it's still working and it still can do your video. So it'll hold on to that, to its usability longer if it's bigger. And with Android, they say we don't care. We can give you a SD card slot. You can put your stuff on there. It's cool. And I think that's a really neat way that they allow their users. So I'm kind of leaning towards going Android, man.
I'm a fan. All right, so the evolution of the mobile phone. We have our big blocky cell phones, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then we get touch screens, and then we decide that we want it to get bigger and bigger and bigger, so that way we can see all the pretty pictures. And it makes sense if you think about it, because if all you can do is, type phone number in, you can kind of text. You don't really need to see that much. You don't really need that much on your screen. But when we're looking at pictures and watching videos, video calling, you might want a larger screen. But who knows how big we'll get. Mark had a bag phone back in the day.
That phone was very popular on like Saved by the Bell. Zach Morris used to have this.
Yeah, that
gray one.
and Miami Vice, the drug dealers have them.
Yeah, those guys have them as well. Thank you, Mark.
All right. On to wearable technology devices. So smartwatches. They use Bluetooth to pair to a smartphone for the purpose of answering calls, receiving, replying to text messages, and other linked features depending on the watch. And the main manufacturers are going to be Apple, Pebble, Sony, Tag, Samsung, Fitbit. You don't really need to know all the manufacturers, but typically I feel like you'll see Apple and Fitbit. I would say those are probably the two big ones. Each technology has a proprietary operating system. The most common are Android Wear, Pebble operating system, and Watch operating system from Apple. So this is good to know. WatchOS, that is Apple's wearable technology, their smartwatch operating system. They don't run on iOS or macOS. That will come up in a test question, so
Sure
good to have down. I didn't think anything of it when I went through this until I got asked about it, and I was just like, wish I would have written that down. So I'm giving you that tip. Right. Additional apps are available through the manufacturer websites, depending on your watch. Some watches are fancier than others. Some are very simple. And so they're not going to have the same sort of apps that you would need on the other ones. My wife has an Apple Watch and she plays that 2048 game and she does that all day on her watch. And I just have a basic Fitbit. It tracks my steps, my heartbeat. It tells me the time too. Justin, yes, sir.
So with the watches, do they have like a, I guess a BIOS or an interface that people can go in and kind of reset, or you know what I'm saying? Kind of the PCs.
I do know what you're saying. I personally do not know how to access that. I'm sure it does in some way. I'm sure it's like not an easy thing to do. I feel like you'd probably have to connect it to a computer and access it that way. But that's something we'd have to look more into. I'm not sure. Rinzi.
Are Holter monitors and EKG monitors considered wearable technology as well, even though they're not like mobile devices?
You know what? Look at you, Renzi. Because it's monitoring something. I don't think it's considered wearable technology in the realm of what we're trying to demonstrate. But I know people would have to wear it for X amount of time and then get downloaded the results.
Right.
Because it's not being done wirelessly. I think it kind of has its limits. It's almost just like it's a portable with the battery and it's just holding information.
Right.
Until access. So it's kind of falls out of our category for wearable tech devices.
Good question though.
Yeah, that's very good.
So some common features that you'll see, GPS features. So you might be able to access your GPS through your watch. An anti-lost alert. Who can tell me what that means?
They're like the Apple tags.
Hey, find your phone.
Yeah, find your phone, find your watch.
Yep. So once you hit that find my phone, what's gonna happen?
It's gonna get a ping.
Yeah, it
It's
sings a
gonna
ping.
track down your location, even if the device is off or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, using GPS, right?
It's an awesome feature and probably my favorite feature because my wife always loses her phone one way or another. And so she can just hit that button and I'll hear ping. I hear it all the time in the house. I won't even be in the same room as her, but I'll just hear that ping and I know what's going on. That will be a test question. It'll be included in a test question at least. So knowing that it's going to make that ping noise to help you find it. It'll have time displays, vibration alerts, and some will have a micro USB input port. But I think we're starting to see a shift into wireless charging, even though there's still a wire connected to the little pad. But yeah.
Avery, guess what?
What's up?
My Fitbit was such the entry level one. It didn't even have a screen on it. It just had dots. And as you reach certain intervals of movement, the dots light up. So I didn't even know how many steps I had. Well, I could always check my phone, but I started there and then I got the actual watch looking one and then it died. Now that one still works. It's tried and true. It still works.
Oh.
But yeah.
There's not much to it. It's just keeping those steps and then it sends it to your phone.
Send it to your phone, right?
Yeah.
So.
I remember that was my first watch too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So
we got a bun somewhere.
Yeah. So wearable technology devices, fitness monitors. While smartwatches may have apps for fitness monitoring, this wearable technology specializes in tracking users' movements. Wireless technology communicates trackers information to an application on a computer or a cell phone. So this is what we were just talking about. A fitness monitor, I guess, is considered something different than a smartwatch. I don't think you really have to know those differences in the realm of A+, but it makes sense if you think about it. A fitness monitor is just going to check fitness levels. So like wrist strap will hold the sensor. It's going to read your body temperature. It might have GPS tracking for determining distances, like how far you're running. It'll monitor your heart rate, blood pressure. Some might even have additional chest straps if you're trying to get a better read on those different rates. And so if it has, you go ahead, Marvin.
I was about to say Rienzi. So this would fall more under that Holter monitor. You see, because it's monitoring the heart, blood pressure, things like that. So I can see I can kind of fall into this realm versus the actual watch portion that we just saw.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Good addition. So our most popular brand is going to be Fitbit, but Adidas also has their brand, Nike, Polar, Microsoft. Oh, just got a cramp in my leg.
You need a heart monitor, Avery.
Yeah, I might need something. Just gotta. Yeah. So those are the most popular.
I don't know how this cramp came. What are you sitting down? You're not like you're.
Oh, I know.
Calf raises.
I had my leg up.
Okay.
And then I guess I extended it.
I got you now.
And fired the muscle, and it was like, nope.
People, Garmin has a watch as well, and it does a lot because that's a big popular for runners. Some of them will opt for the Garmin watch. What OS do you think the Garmin is using? I just said it's a major one. And when you think major, you should think say what, Alan?
Android.
Yep. And what's Android's OS for their wearable devices? What is it called?
Pebble.
Close. Go back one slide for us, Avery. Android Wear OS. I even helped you. I said what wearable, but it's Wear OS is what Android calls it. Just FYI, because that's another big one outside of Watch OS.
Yep.
All yours, Avery.
All right. So further on into our wearable technology devices, glasses and headsets. So glasses, one of the glasses the lens will contain like a tiny screen. Google Glass was the main provider, but now they're only sold to organizations who can help improve the design. So it's not really user ready. It's not ready for the public. Right. But essentially it can bring in augmented reality where it'll lay over augmented image onto, so like a big, well, let's see if we can turn it into a question. Marvin, will you pick a student for me?
Sure will, Jordan.
Jordan, tell me the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality.
I know virtual reality is something that you really can't see, but it's like you there. And I don't know what the other one is.
Okay. Jimmy, help us out.
So from what I understand, so virtual reality is like immersing yourself into another world, while augmented is kind of like Pokemon Go, where you add things to the real world.
perfect example. That's what I was gonna go with. But then
NFTs are crazy.
Say that
Man.
one more time, please.
I said virtual reality is kind of submerging yourself into a different reality, like a different world, while augmented reality is projecting things into the real world.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon Go.
Avery,
Okay, thanks.
Avery, is that game that people used to play a lot where the little things used to like, you could see them on your phone? You know, those little, like,
I know what you're talking about now.
yeah, you know what I'm talking, is that considered augmented reality?
So if you're just viewing it on your phone, then no. But if the phone is using, I don't know if you can really see it, if you're using the camera and the app is making use of what the camera is seeing, and you're seeing the view of the camera and it overlays whatever it was that you were talking about, then that would be considered augmented reality. It's where
Which
you
I
place.
think it does. I think what she's talking about was like to catch the Pokemon and they were everywhere. You had to put your phone up and you would see.
Yeah, Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go. My
Yeah.
husband still plays that to this day.
Yes.
I think it was like a first evolution of utilizing augmented reality,
Yep.
which is super cool that you guys even remember that, because that is very niche, but it was a big phenomenon. Like people were going everywhere trying to catch these things. So you got to catch them all, right?
That's right. So, yep, back to it. Augmented, it's overlaying this virtual image onto real life, and virtual reality is when you immerse yourself within it and you're interacting within that virtual world. Typically, you'll see those big goggles that completely cover your eyes, so you're seeing into a screen, but it's like you're actually in that virtual world. So that's the major difference. We also have headsets, and this can respond to voice commands and body movement. Any questions so far? Jimmy, do you have a question, or are you just still got your hand up?
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, you're good. No worries. All right, so some other mobile devices. We've got phablets, the fabulous tablets, technology that combines cell phone with a tablet. So it's going to be like a mix between a cell phone and tablet. I'm not a fan of them just because they are so large. And if I'm using it as a phone, that's kind of inconvenient. I prefer my phones to be a little smaller, like just big enough where I can watch videos, but small enough where it can fit into my pocket at the very least. So the phablets, they're going to be around 5 inches to 7 inches. One of the most popular is going to be the Samsung Galaxy Note. We also have e-readers. So the Kindle was the first of this type, followed quickly by the Nook. And their main job is as a reading device, but have also quickly turned into a tablet substitute. They have browsers for the internet through wireless connections. Apps can be downloaded, and an operating system similar to smart devices. Typically, these are really only used for reading. And they'll be mostly like black and white, use very little battery. So a good alternative if you want to keep your books virtual. All right. So some more mobile devices, smart cameras. So these cameras that can extract information from the images they take and then make decisions based on what is extracted. You could see robot guidance, biometric recognition, and code reading verification, which are features that make this a mobile device. And then we also have GPS, or the Global Position System. And this is a satellite-based navigation system that provides location and time services. The most common use is for navigation. It allows to get the current position by process on the receiver called triangulation. And this is communication with 3 different satellites to obtain the distance of each satellite. Other uses include tracking, law enforcement to monitor inmates, or to locate other persons that are sharing their positions. So what Snapchat did back in the day, which I can't remember how long ago it was, they during one update, you can always show your position wherever you're at to your Snapchat friends. So if you're friends with someone on Snapchat, they can see where you are. I didn't like that, so I turned that feature off. Not a fan of it. But it's also kind of cool if like you're going on vacation and you're wanting to show all your friends where you're going. They can see all the different spots you're at. So it has its place, but I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Don't let me get on my soapbox about that.
All right, Marvin, would you like to take over?
Man, let's go. Let's go. So we're going to talk about some more common features among mobile devices. Let's start with the screens. And Kelly talked about this earlier with the display devices. We have the 2. Most tablets are going to use either the TN, which we know to be twisted pneumatic, or the IPS. In plane switching, IPS is better for tablets, especially because of the colors and the angles that you can view from versus the TN. Both of these are LCD panels. Now, the newer ones use OLED, which is organic, the organic LEDs, which will provide better light. And that's all that's really giving you, which is a good thing. I'm not taking anything away from that, but that's what that technology is all about. So on top of the screens, you have 2 types of technologies that may have been in use. We don't use resistive as much, but you have resistive touch screens and capacitive touch screens. Capacitive. I want to ask, when you think about resistive touch screens, give me an example of what that could be. Alan got the hand up. It might not even be for that, but go ahead and tell me.
Okay, so resistive touchscreens are kind of like maybe the touchscreen that you will find in like a car, where it's kind of like touch feature where you can press certain things, but you can't like expand or like kind of control like the size of the font that's behind it.
Okay, that's a good first stab at it. I like it, and I like what you're going with it. Evan, what you got for me?
Wouldn't resistive touchscreens be like when you're signing your signature at like a grocery store?
Man,
check
them out. Check them out. Evan coming
there
back.
It is.
So this is redemption for Evan because he didn't know he didn't fully know the hard drive and the SSD drive. So hey man,
I had to make up for it.
You got it. You came back in the clutch. It's exactly that. Resistive is when you use that signature.
Who is that? Signature pad?
Yep. The signature capture pad is resistive. Older PDAs or older phones, when you had to like press, they would like tell you to press certain places in order to calibrate it. That's resistive. That's that resistive technology because it's trying to calibrate you based off of some pressure there. Where with capacitive, that's what we use now, and it doesn't require doing that. But I recall having to use a stylus to touch the dot, watch the dot, touch on top of it to lock in calibration for that resistive touch screen. But like I said, it's not used a lot, but if it's going to be mentioned, it's going to be in that signature capture conversation, and Evan kind of nailed that one. So,
And
good
I'd
with
like to
that,
add,
Alan? I know you gave your answer, as I want to make sure Alan caught that.
when
Internet
cars,
connection was messing up. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize if y'all are frozen.
No, we're not frozen. We're real people. Like, what is that? What is that? Pinocchio. I'm a real boy. Go for it. Go for it, Avery.
so when cars first started adding touchscreens, you probably would actually see resistive touchscreens, just because that was what came first. And so,
Agreed.
Alan, you're sort of right, because you would definitely see that in older, newer cars. Older in the sense that they're not current, but newer in the sense that they make use of touchscreen technology. But in the newer cars, you're pretty much only going to see that capacitive.
So I'm starting to get the personalities here. I feel like I'm gonna be. If anybody watched, what is the name of the movie? The football movie with Denzel.
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. So
You forget that movie.
I think I'm Coach Boone, because I yell at you, and Avery come in the clutch, and he'll come talk to you nice and get everything get all that he need out of you. So, but I'm gonna yell at you, which is fine. We got different ways to do it.
And it was that crazy.
Yep.
I was wondering what happened.
Security manager, and
All right, let's see here. Next, cameras, microphones, and GPS systems. These are things that we've talked about, but let's talk about it more in detail. With phones, with mobile devices, the advent of two cameras, being one in the front and one in the back, has highlighted the growth of the use of cameras versus mobile devices camera versus actually a digital camera. Of course, all mobile devices will probably have some use of a microphone and GPS to save Miss Ashley from losing her phone, because she needs that. I need it too. But what do you think? What was heavily utilized first in phones that allowed for pictures to be taken, that they figured that we needed to add a camera? I want to know if anybody recall this big fad. What did we use? What was selling like hotcakes?
Figured it out. It's the what are they called?
Now to slide in there, if Evan can't get it, you have the floor. You can yell it out.
Is it camcorders?
No, it was something else that they use with the phone.
You talking about the little stick?
The selfie stick, man.
Yeah, the selfie
stick.
The selfie stick pushed technology to say, hey man, we got to put another camera on this phone, and let's turn your arm into the stick. So that was really a big thing. And then now you're hard pressed to find a cell phone that doesn't have a front facing camera. Now, we took pictures with it, selfies, okay, but now we're doing Zoom and other things like that, so you need that front facing technology for different avenues. But Renee, you don't know what a selfie stick is? I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
I do not know what a selfie stick is for 500, Alex.
So, a selfie stick is a device that you attach. Mark, tell her. Go for it.
It's just a stick that you use. You put your phone in it. It has a clip on the end, and one of the clips is depends on which one you get. You can get one that you can use to take pictures, and that sits over one of the buttons that you take the pictures with. You just click it on the stick. And other than that, you turn the video on and just hold the camera away from you and do your thing.
Very, very popular fad. And they made it so certain sticks you can plug Avery is attempting to draw something. I don't
Hey.
know what that was.
That was a selfie stick.
Okay. Well,
Have you
there
never
go.
seen a selfie stick, Marvin?
Man, I bought the Mrs. one, and it lasted one time, but then the phones changed. But you would plug, in a way they made it so it would incorporate being plugged into your phone, so a button on the stick would actually cause the picture to be taken, which was super cool. You got to give them that. Got to give them that. So it was a big fad. So, well, yeah, that may be. Let's wrap up with internal storage versus expandable memory. So I think we just talked about this, Avery.
Mhm.
Yeah, we identified that Apple is more internal and Android will allow you to expand. Do we have any questions on that? Copilot alert. You say you have a surprise for me? I bet you do. Any questions on expandable versus internal? Internal is set, not moving, but expandable will, this is my opportunity to.
I'll resume.
Bam,
All right, we're good.
So, yeah. So we talked about iOS, we talked about Google. We don't see many Windows phones, but if you do see it, they are a closed source from Microsoft. Just know that it's a closed source OS. It's not up for finagling. Any questions about operating systems for your mobile devices? These are the three main ones: iOS, Google, which is Android, the whole deal, and Microsoft, which is kind of just barely hanging in there.
Yeah. And with open source softwares, the only stipulation is that if you make changes to it and you're not allowed to sell it as your own, you have to keep it open for anyone else that would want to use your version of it if you wanted to share it.
That is correct. Good job on that one, Avery. All
Hey,
right,
can
some
you
more.
go over closed
Go for
source
it.
one more time?
Let's go back. Say that one more time for me, Jordan.
Oh, I just need the definition of closed source one more time.
Okay, closed source operating systems are ones that it's proprietary, so it limits the ability to make changes to the source code. In order to make those changes, you will, like I said, you literally have to get some type of a permission. Whereas open source, the source code is available. You can download it and you can start making changes. With the caveat that Avery just mentioned, you can't try to sell it. It stays open. It's for the community. Anybody know of a actual desktop operating system that works like that? Linux. That's it. Linux. I mean, there are paid versions of it, but for the most part, Linux is designed to be open, available for the community. You do as you please, you share, and you create that experience, which is kind of cool. You good, Jordan? Okay. Okay, we got a couple more. Those ones on the first page were the biggest ones, and you'll see why, because a lot of these have already died out. You got BlackBerry OS. I think BlackBerry is coming back around, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I've seen a BlackBerry here or there.
I don't know about.
You don't think it's gonna be okay?
I don't know if the comeback's.
It's not gonna work.
I don't know if it's there.
Can't. What did they have? The BlackBerry Messenger was really, really popular. A lot of people was really excited about that and hate that it left. Symbian. We got HP Web OS, also called Palm OS. That was for the PDAs, the old, Pocket Data Assistant PDAs. Mm-hmm. Okay, we got Bata, we got Migo, replaced by Tizen, which is really neat because Tizen is used on the back end of a lot of car OSs. A lot of that big screen you have in your entertainment system, you have in your car, infotainment system, is being ran by Tizen as a company. They kind of have a large imprint over that. So no matter if you're in the Chevy of Aveo, all the way up to some of the luxury lines like a Land Rover, Tizen may have a play in that, which is very good for them because they realized that they needed to get away from phones, but they wanted to stay in the game. And they jumped into the car game because it was changing, and now they're there. Like people just modify their because it's Linux, so I'm pretty sure that it's open to an extent. So they just modify that source code to go with what they're trying to do with their cars, which is kind of cool.
They're also used in smart TVs.
Also using smart TVs, which, hey man, hats off to them. We need to see what that stock is called, Abra. Got to get in the game, man.
That's right.
Because you're gonna get in a car at some point, and it's not gonna have anything but a big screen in there, like the Teslas. Like all it's gonna be is a screen, and you pray that nobody breaks it, or you don't mess it up, because it probably costs half what the car costs. So this is broken down the actual OSs per platform that it's on. So we have the iOS that supports the iPhone and iPad. We got the Windows Mobile that supports Surface and the Nokia Lumia. Anybody had a Nokia phone with Snake on it? Everybody should have started with the 51. What it was, the 30? No.
Yeah.
I just dated myself, didn't I? I shouldn't have said anything. My first phone was the iPhone. How about that? That'll let y'all think that I was. Yeah. Okay. Android. You got the Galaxy that everybody knows about. LG, the Amazon. I know most of you. Who doesn't have a Fire Stick? Somebody, we got to see this. You don't have a Fire Stick? How are you watching the stuff?
Yes,
you don't have a Fire Stick?
I do not.
That's only a small amount of you guys. Most of you understand the power of a Fire Stick, right? You just go on like YouTube. I feel like Jose at this point. But yeah, you go on YouTube and you can really unlock the power of your Fire Stick. But it's Android, which makes sense. Any questions about these operating systems? Nope. Accessories. Of course, they will try to make some accessories very specific, but for the most part, they're universal. You got your headset, you got docking stations that you use. The credit card readers is really cool, especially if you're working a business that's mobile, like food trucks or things of that nature. Set up a pop-up or something to throw that on top of your phone and go ahead and take, because I don't have, most people don't use cash anymore or have cash on them in certain numbers in abundance. So you all typically, you have your debit card or some type of way to pay with credit. So I really enjoyed that they created that. That's really cool. Car charges, of course. And we talked about the pins that are being brought back around as well. Just accessories for those mobile devices to make those mobile devices more useful for you. Connection types. Micro USB and mini USB. The bane of some of your existence, because it took a while to realize the difference between the micro and the mini, but once you get it, those devices are typically those Android devices, and they vary depending on what they need. All Apple devices right now, be it iPad and iPhone, is using Lightning. I still have devices that use the big one too. That's the cool thing. Like Kelly talked about that iPad. I still have an iPod. I'm trying to find it. And we do have an older iPad that still uses the big one. Just holding on. It doesn't even get any more updates at this point. Near field communication serve two purposes, but Umberto broke it down why we use it. We use it a lot now, where if you have your debit card, a new debit card, you only have to like push it into the machine or slide it down the side. You just tap that guy on top of that pay device, and it will typically respond to that payment. Or if you had your phone, you can actually put your phone up to the device and you will get that. The word is, this is word of the day, is haptic. Put that in chat for me, Avery. It's called a haptic feedback. That's like a very slight vibration or some type of indication that that connection was made. And that's how you know that payment went through. I'm pretty sure with both major phone companies, but if you wanted to pay with out of your wallet with the iPhone, you put your thumbprint over the home button, because I still have a home button, Avery, and it will vibrate to let me know that it went through and then put a check mark. That's that feedback, letting me know that that went through. That's how I know it went through.
And you'll see the same thing with Google Pay.
You see things with Google Pay. So, and also the added luxury of hotspots, using your phone as a hotspot. Some of us have unlimited data plans and you want to do something on your laptop, you can turn your phone into a gateway and allow you to be able to use its internet source as a way to get onto the web on your notebook. Tether, at one point in time, you had to plug it up, but now you just have it close to it. And it works as a wireless hotspot, which is kind of neat. But we'll want you to know that tethering is a big thing when it comes towards hotspots. Test question alert. Any questions about micro USB, mini USB, lightning? Bluetooth is fine, right?
I've got a question, Marvin.
You have a question? Let's go.
Yeah. So there's one connection type that I'm not seeing that you'll see on newer Android devices.
Oh,
Can somebody tell me what we're missing? Anybody have a newer Android?
It's all
Oh,
the
I know what
rage
it
right
is.
now.
I know
What is it,
is.
Janina?
There is no port for the headphones.
So that's that's Bluetooth.
That's Bluetooth, but
Well, see, like mine, I have a port that I can plug in wired headphones, but the newer version doesn't have that port.
that's true. That is a connection type that we didn't mention. That's a good catch. Jimmy put a good answer in the chat.
What'd you say, Jimmy?
USB
Say it
Type
out loud.
C. Oh,
Type
USB.
C, man.
Yep.
Type C
That's
is the
true.
answer because it's being used across the landscape in so many different ways because of the technologies that's there. So I have to give them the credit for this one. It's not a money grab per se. There are several benefits for Type C.
Yep.
The ability to transfer, your transfer rate is better. The ability to work as a way to move power, which is also really cool. So big salute to that. And it's being used by multiple different brands. So it's not going to be brand specific either. So that's really cool.
Mhm. And most likely it's not on here because this is an older test and Type C is really seeing it's really picked up its stride in these recent years.
Yep, sure has. All right. Mobile devices are an essential part of everybody's life. We know that. The majority of people own multiple mobile devices, 64% uses smartphones. That's of Americans. 34% of cell internet users go online mostly using their phones and not using some other device such as a computer. Yep, I can see that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The average person spends about 4.5 hours a day on their phone. Do you guys spend 4.5 hours a day on your phone?
Some of you spend 8 hours a day.
Yeah, especially
right here.
Right. That's so true. Mobile devices have many capabilities and support many needs. It's literally, it's a walking computer. Your phone really is a computer. Let's be honest. A lot that you can do there. You don't even have to go to a desktop or a laptop anymore. So people run businesses from their phones, sync with other devices. It's really if used properly, it's a major benefit. It's a major drain on your life too if you dive into the social media pools and you can't get out. You know, you gotta just dive, get back out if you're gonna dive in. How do people use mobile devices? 62% of adult population use their mobile phone for just-in-time activities. So we got traffic here, solving unexpected problems, emergencies, looking up scores. That's my favorite. Deciding whether to visit a restaurant. That's also really good. So you use it for so many different things. So hard pressed to, as an exercise, how long do you think you can go without using your phone? Anyone? If you didn't have to use it for class here, how long can you go without touching your phone? Could you go a whole day?
All day.
Could you really, TK?
Yeah, I don't really like the phone.
Hats off to you. I wish I could be that. What about you, Avery?
Me, I use it for things outside of social media. Like I'll read off my phone. I use it for a lot of different things. So I could go without it, but it's convenient to not have to. My wife, on the other hand, she doesn't need her phone. She's happy to just be in the moment, and she doesn't even really like technology.
I once went a whole week recently without my phone. And
went a whole week, you say?
Whole week, yeah. That was made possible
we talk
by
every day.
I know. It helps when you have your phone on silent and you lose it.
Well, yeah, you can go a whole week that way. I agree with that. So
Unfortunately, though, I had to use my computer more. So
just wondering, it'd be cool to do. Hats off to you, TK. I appreciate the fact that still exists. You know, there are subset of people that don't use the cell phone because they never had to. Older people fall into that category, but now they enjoy it. They have that's that game with the Candy Crush and stuff like that. It's addictive to older people. They love that. You know,
Are you trying to rag on other people now, Marvin? Is that what
Pardon me, Rienzi, what did you say?
I said, are you trying to rag on older people?
No, I'm just saying that I welcome them to the
technological
advance.
Really?
Marvin, we gotta respect our elders.
Are we're still recording. Let's keep going. Let's wrap it up. So I at the end of this technical session, I feel like we've been able to identify mobile devices, explain what qualifies them as mobile devices. Hopefully we got you squared away, TK. I saw that face when we was doing that quiz. Describe the characteristics of common mobile devices, be it tablet, phablet, phone, and e-readers. Compare and contrast the software platforms, their accessories and mobile ports, and the difference of each mobile devices, and describe the role of mobile devices in today's society. Do we have any questions about mobile devices? Any more questions? If not, we will stop this recording.